So you've finished Horizon. I haven't
Horizon.
touched the DLC anymore because I've just been busy. But
Been
you
busy with
have
life.
you have navigated the Los Angeles
I have.
waters of Horizon. What's it called? Burning Shores.
It's Burning Shores, yeah. So
Okay, cool.
just to recap, because I know we spoke about it. I mean, we both had played like an hour or two last time we spoke about it.
Last time we spoke about it, very, very brief.
But just to recap very briefly, Burning Shores is a DLC for Horizon Forbidden West, and it picks up after the events of the first game. This isn't a DLC that you can just dive into.
You have to finish the main game.
You have to have finished the main game.
Yeah.
You have to be pretty high level to navigate all the dangers of a futuristic Los Angeles. So Burning Shores takes you to Hollywood, what it might look like in 1,000 years. Turns out it
looks a lot better than what it looks like now.
It does. It's got volcanoes. A lot of it's underwater.
It doesn't smell.
I don't know. Is that sewage water or the ocean? We don't know.
Listen, it's an improvement either way.
But yeah, so this takes place in a futuristic Los Angeles. But I think what makes this DLC stand out to the base game immediately is that there's a lot more water. And it's also a lot, not more gorgeous, but I feel that because this is a PS5 only DLC, also just keep that in mind. If you have a PS4, you cannot play this.
Kind of a weird one. Yeah.
Like Horizon Forbidden West is gorgeous, but it feels that, I don't know, in terms of design and how this play areas come together, it's also like a visual marvel. Because there's so many different islands, you get to sail between them with a skiff, like a little makeshift boat, and there's a lot of little hills that give you cool views of the surrounding play areas. In terms of gameplay, I can't tell you that there's a distinct difference in how this game works. Like I know I touched on it last time where Horizon Zero Dawn's DLC, I find it hilarious that you get this high level gear that you finish the game with, and then you get into the DLC and they say, oh, there are these towers peppered throughout that for all intents and purposes disable your high level gear. And that immediately is like okay, I need to think strategically again. Horizon's Burning Shores DLC feels it's more just a side story set in the main game. And like there are one or two things that I'd say are going to probably be very important to know going into the third game. But if it's really is just more of the same. It's not like there's a distinct, oh wow, I must play this for X reason. You know, there's a new weapon that comes to mind. There's what are these? The Zenith, the futuristic people. You get one of their weapons, which is pretty cool. And there's a couple of new enemies, new armor sets, but there's no like distinct gameplay difference that comes to mind. The only thing all that said, I know I'm like getting ahead of myself here. Not to say that the DLC is bad. Like I really enjoyed my time with it. But the end boss in this DLC is what has me excited for, the third game in this 2B trilogy. Because that I feel when this was announced as a PS5 only thing, you go, that's weird. Like the reasoning was, no, now we can do like better particles, and now we have a better clouds generation system. The sky looks better, and that's all really nice. But you think, surely for the PS4, you could have dialed those back and made it playable for people who own a PS4. Until you get to the end boss, and you think, okay, this is a technical marvel.
It's impossible to scale that down.
I just don't see how you would have scaled that down. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but just the scale of that final battle. I actually read, I think it was either a review or a tweet that I read. Somebody likened it to a God of War boss from the original games. Just wow, it's so like
in terms of scale.
It's just like a larger than life. Like, oh my God, what a huge enemy.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I'm like,
okay.
If there's more of that in the third game, like I'm in by default. Like I love Horizon, but more stuff like that to me, I can see being a defining gameplay thing in the third game. Because I think Horizon Forbidden West's biggest criticism is that, it looks pretty, but it's really more of the same. They've added a means to glide. There's a couple new weapons, but the open world kind of functions the same. There's no defining gameplay change. I feel this DLC hints at what could be something big for the third game of like, no, like you're still going to fight these smaller enemies, but I don't know, the premise of the third game, there are tons of these big enemies, almost like, again, God of War style, huge scale battles that are just very unique and
like
cinematic.
Maybe like an open world interpretation of like a Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
you have these smaller enemies peppered around, but the main like objective is to take down these bigger beings or something like that.
Yeah, look, I mean, and this is obviously speculation, but I would be so down for that. I mean,
sure.
I like to think that this DLC's last boss was them like not only flexing on, hey, we can do cool shit like this, but maybe we should sort of feel the water. What will people perceive of this sort of battle? Did they enjoy it? Should we do more of it? I mean, even not necessarily for the third game. I mean, there's a multiplayer game coming, and I don't think I'm alone in saying a Horizon crossed with Monster Hunter would be very cool.
Oh yeah, now, that would be the perfect sort of like meshing.
Yeah, now imagine, I mean, Monster Hunter has huge dragons and beasts that are very fun to take down alone or in co-op. Now, if the multiplayer game has bigger bosses, I mean, shit, that sounds awesome.
Yeah,
but overall, the DLC, again, like I'm not trying to hate on it. It is more of the same with some cool new enhancements. It's about 8 to 10 hours to get through the main story, which I think if you did the side content, you're probably looking at like 15 to 20 hours, which is a fair bit of content for the asking price of, I think it's $20. It's like 370 Rand locally.
Yeah,
it's either 20 or 30, but it's 370 Rand or so locally, and I think that's a fair asking price. Like,
that's not bad at all for like 10 hours of gameplay.
There's a lot of content here, and the game is like, it's gorgeous. I still think Horizon is one of the best looking, if not the best looking game of this generation. That's a combination of art style, how lush the play areas look, and it's just, man,
just
I think
the sort of detail in the world is just insane.
I spend so much time in the photo mode.
Yeah, shocker.
It's actually a problem when you're playing, like, man, I need to like actually play the game instead of just looking at it through this damn photo mode.
And the photo mode's good as well. Like, it gives you a lot to like play around with. So yeah, no, I mean, it is definitely the best looking game on PS5 at the very least. I don't know. I'm just struggling to get back into it because it really expects you to have just finished the main game, because
I think that's a common problem that I've just seen in my own friendship circle of people I mean, myself included, they throw you in and I'm just like,
I'm spending like an hour just figuring out what the fuck's going on.
To play this game. Yeah. And is that the developer's fault? I don't know, but they could have maybe done a better job onboarding or just easing us back into this new player. Because they're quite literally like, here's a story beat. Okay, cool. You're going to fight all these enemies. And they're not.
I think it's a tough balance thing, because it's like you said, the game came out a year ago. So like, do they go, okay, well, do we patronize people and go, here's how to replay the game, and people go, how dare you? I just want to play the game. Yeah. Versus, I played this at launch. I don't know what the fuck is going on anymore. Yeah. Like I think you lose either way. So I don't know. Yeah.
It's good though.
But that said, I'm not enjoying that process. But I feel like once I've got over that hump, like, it'll feel good again once the muscle memory comes back.
I must say, when I eventually got over the thing of learning what my weapons do, because there's a lot of statuses as well, like what each status does.
Yeah, I'm like confused as to what status effect is good against what enemy, like what I should be doing. That's the thing that I'm struggling with, because I know for a fact when I played the main game, I was like, oh, this enemy, cool, know exactly how to deal with it, know exactly how to deal. So it just feels annoying to have to relearn that again. You know what I mean?
But I mean, all that said and done, when you do have that nailed down, Horizon's combat is great. Like, it never feels, run of the mill. It's always exciting to take down an enemy. It doesn't matter how big or small they are. I feel, and it's also cinematic. Feels good. But yeah, I enjoyed my time with the DLC. I'm very excited to see what they take into the third game.